Hi everyone, my name is Emily Ransom and welcome to episode 5 of Beyond the Jersey. The title of today's episode is Playing Smart and Staying Sane, more of the field hockey and mental health resilience side of things. As you all know, this podcast is talking about the importance of mental health and how we can better advocate for student athletes. Today I have here with me multiple field hockey players from Shenandoah Women's Field Hockey. I have Claudia, Maddie, Caitlin, and Cameron. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. So first question I kind of want to ask you guys to open things up is I wanted to ask you guys how you got into your sport and what you did like growing up. Did you have other sports you played that kind of influenced it as well?
So I started field hockey my freshman year of high school. My mom wanted me to try out for a fall sport, and so I tried out, and that's how my love of field hockey started. And then I used to play soccer growing up, so then my sophomore year of high school, I chose to do field hockey full time, even though I had done soccer the whole rest of my life, but that's pretty much how I got into it.
Yeah, I'm a little similar to Claude. I also played soccer, but I started both when I was like really young, like probably 4 or 5. And my mom played both, so I just she put me in the sport, and I liked both of them. Ran with them for a little bit, and then in high school decided that field hockey was more my thing and the thing that I wanted to do in college as well. So it's the one I just kind of stuck with.
I'm similar to Cam. I also played field hockey from a very young age. It's what my mom grew up playing, and then I cycled through a bunch of other sports. I played like softball and soccer and lacrosse, but none of them really stuck like field hockey did.
Yeah, and then I grew up playing roller hockey. I played that until like sophomore year of high school, and then I started lacrosse. But I actually started playing field hockey like end of 8th grade. My mom also played it, got me into it, and I just fell in love with it ever since. So
Nice. Yeah, it sounds like you guys like played multiple sports. Like, do you feel like field hockey is like I feel like very different, but also kind of like a combination of things. Do you guys feel like that kind of influence how you play, or like your decision on choosing field hockey? Do you like what is your kind of viewpoint on like field hockey in itself?
I do agree that it is like a very much so a mix of a bunch of other sports. Like it has aspects of soccer and lacrosse like that are also built into it. I think I like the uniqueness of it because there's also indoor and outdoor hockey. So like within itself, there's a lot of variety to it. So I never got like bored of it or like burnt out. And I think playing like a bunch of other sports helped learn skills that were always applicable to field hockey.
I agree with Maddie.
Nice. Okay, so as we're kind of getting into field hockey is like pretty fast, continuous. I know like I only played field hockey when I was little for like 2 years, and like I just played so many sports, like trying to get into it. I remember like it was just like constant movement, and like watching you guys this season, it was like really great to watch and like see how that like translated. So is that like constant movement kind of affect your ability to mentally reset after mistakes, or do you think it's kind of a benefit?
I would say the constant movement, like, it doesn't let me, like, get in my head. It doesn't let me, like, dwell on something. Like, there's something continuously happening, so, like, I have to be ready to go to the next play, and, like, just I can be better in that next play rather than, like, having, like, stoppage time to be able to just, like, think about what just happened. So I think in that aspect, it really helps just, like, to keep going and, like, forget what just happened. Like, you have to worry about the next play.
Yeah, kind of like Claudia said, like you don't have time really to think about a mistake. Like it is such a fast-paced back and forth game. Like you make a mistake, it's like okay, how do you respond to that? How do you recover? How do you get in a spot to help your teammates after you make the mistake? You don't really have time to think, oh man, I really messed up.
Yeah, I feel like also a lot of time like watching you guys like if you were down and stuff, it's like field hockey's kind of unique. I feel like it's not like a super high scoring game at times, but I feel like it was really cool to see how you guys were able to like bounce back a lot, because I feel like in a lot of sports that's really hard to do, and you guys just like seeing that translate and like your teamwork was really nice, which we'll also get into like how teamwork really plays a role in this. So in previous episodes, we have talked a lot about like the pressures of mental health within a specific sport. I've done episodes with guys saying how like men it's harder for them to express their mental health just for being a guy. And like we've kind of seen like the girls side of things where it might be easier but it's still difficult. So like have you ever felt pressure to hide mental struggles because of like a tough team culture, or just overall feeling like you have to have that tough exterior because you're a college athlete?
I think overall there is like a stigma behind mental health and being open about like the battles you are facing. I think with like SUFH, we have a really strong and like supportive um like atmosphere and environment and just group of people that it is easy to express like, hey, I'm going through this, or like I don't know how to, I guess, like work through this battle. Like, we're all there to kind of just open up and like talk to each other. And I think we're so lucky, especially with our coaching staff all being so supportive and so involved. So I think that makes it easier for us. But like, I definitely do understand the other side of it where, you might not have a supportive group like from coaching staff or teammates in college, and how you do have to hide those and act tough. So it's just like that stigma. But I think we are so fortunate to be able to have such a supportive like group of people.
Yeah, so for me, like in high school, I mean like I was okay, like I was fine, but it was just a lot tougher than I realized. Then like coming here, it just was like eye-opening in a way. Like I realized like it is okay to voice these things, and like it's okay to be feeling that way, or like the physical demand on your body. Like so I think that was kind of nice to like just it was really really eye-opening, and not knowing like the difference at the time.
And like something to add off that, like I feel like going seeking out someone to explain mental health struggles is very difficult, and I think we're very fortunate that our like coaches are close enough with us that they can tell when something's off, and like they're the first people to like they'll come up and approach us, hey, what's going on, like you were off today, like, and we have that relationship that we're not always having to seek out things, and like when someone comes to us and asks, it's a lot easier to open up because you know that they care, like, and that they want to see you be good and succeed in everything.
Yeah, I feel like, and this happens like a lot for people in college, like they don't feel like they can go to their coaches or like that they have that outlet. So it's like really important to have that, and it's great that you guys feel comfortable with that. So that kind of like translates to the next question I had. How do you mentally handle being evaluated constantly by your coaches, teammates, and yourself? Because as we know, that's like obviously we're constantly evaluating ourselves with our performance. How do you mentally deal with that?
I think like no matter what, like our coaches want us to obviously play our best, but like they are very understanding that like we're all human. So as far as like practices go and like performing in front of them, like they don't care. They just want us to put out our best effort. If it's not going to be the normal 100% that day, then give all that you can. That's all they care about, cuz it's more so like how are you doing as a person, and like how are you doing mentally, rather than like you need to impress me, you need to be making all these shots, stuff like that.
Okay. I also think like with our team culture sort of like we have this mindset of like we over me. So it's like I don't necessarily like try to evaluate myself. Or I more think like, oh, how could I have helped my teammate better in this situation, or like how in the next play can I like help a teammate, or like how can we grow, instead of like, oh, like thinking about like, oh, I made a bad shot, oh, I made a bad pass, like, oh, like how can I support my teammate in this situation better next time.
Yeah, I love that. That's great. I think, again, a lot of people don't have that. So it's really great that you guys have that. I think that's definitely important in college sports because it will overall, like, help your mental health a lot more because all these people are struggling. A lot of it really stems from, not having that support and not feeling they do. Something kind of fun to ask, but to reflect on, if a younger player, or you can even, like, imagine your younger self, asks you how to survive the mental side of this sport, what would some advice you would tell them?
So as someone that's like currently going through just like a surgery, I've like been dealing with my mental health a lot these past like 4 months. So I think the biggest takeaway I've learned so far is that like it's okay to open up and like speak to people. And like I think the biggest concern as an athlete, like an injured athlete, is that you don't want to be like annoying or like have to keep talking about your injury. Like you don't want that to be like your new identity. because it's like it's hard because as an athlete, you think, you might not think it, but like your sport is your identity. So once that's taken away from you, you're just like, okay, well, I don't want to be known as like someone that's like injured. And like, I don't want to have to keep talking about that, but like, do it, like, talk to people about it because that's going to like help overall. And like, mental health overall is just like, changing your perspective and trying to find the positives in the small things like, oh, I was able to go out and run for the first time since like postseason, or I was able to hit a shot that I haven't been able to do in a while. And it's just like finding all the positives in like a day that you thought wasn't your best. I think that's really important for like mental health, is just like overall changing this perspective.
Yeah, that was such a great answer. I think is so good for people to like really look at. I think we've recently talked a lot about injury and like athletes being injured. How do you like mentally go through that? And I think your answer of like really looking at the positive is really important because a lot of people do get injured in their career and it's just something that's sometimes inevitable, and just kind of being able to get past that, see the positive obviously, and it's really important. So I love that. It's awesome. Like I feel like become really popular. Obviously, getting an ODAC win is huge. Growing up, like I like watched sport a little bit, but like seeing you guys like play was like so awesome to see. And kind of reflecting on your season and career, what's something fans or non-athletes possibly do you think misunderstand about your sport and also like the mental toll of your sport?
I feel like our sport as a whole can be very confusing. Like if you were just to sit down and watch a field hockey game, you would hear the whistles and be like, okay, I'm so lost. Why do they blow it all the time? Because there are so many rules and it's not very similar to a lot of other sports. Um, so like people sometimes I feel like I ask it all the time. Oh, is it like ice hockey? Oh, is it? And it's like, no, but sure if that's what helps you understand it. Like, um, it's like when we get people to come to games, we're like, just cheer when other people cheers and boo when other people boo because like that's the best way to understand it. Like for real. Like sometimes I even watch games and don't understand it. But I think like the mental aspect is like very similar to a lot of other team sports. Like you're like obviously you are being evaluated whether you want to be or not, and it's like even when you have fans who are sitting there and don't understand, like it can be hard like when they're like when you do something good, like something small that's good, like so they know when to cheer when a goal happens, but when you do like another move, it's like sometimes that gets lost, and like I feel like confidence can be lost in that too.
Yeah, I feel like even I had like people coming up to me being, "Oh, what does this mean?" Because I was able to watch you guys and I got to commentate, which was something brand new to me. And I was like actually really excited to take on the role because not only got to do something new and something that I might be interested in doing as a career, but like also I got to learn about your sport a lot more, which was really nice, and I got to see your guys' perspective, which was really cool. And obviously, you're amazing athletes. Moving on from that, is there anything like you would tell people watching, not only just for like your sport specifically, but overall, what's some advice you would give to people being a collegiate athlete? Because obviously that transition period from like going from high school to college, I feel like is so different. So could you guys like touch on how that transition was for you, and what advice would you give people doing that? Because obviously a lot of people, they either like make it and they love it, or mental health like kind of takes a toll on them and they're not able to succeed. So how would you give advice to people that may be struggling through that?
I would say from the perspective of like coming from high school to college, like be open to everything. Like when I was in high school, like for field hockey wise, like I played a completely different position than when I played in college. And like if I if I was like so focused on playing that one position, I don't think I would have got as much out of it as I did by being like I trusted my coach, and I was like whatever she has planned, like that will work. And I think like mentally you have to just be open for anything. And like it's hard because it's like you're so used to like what you're used to in high school, and it's like a completely new environment, but like lean on your teammates, like go to your coaches, like people are there to support you, and like you really should lean on them because you also make like really good friends from it, and like you'll have people that want to support you to see your best self as well.
Also, to feed off of that, my high school like experience, my coach was still learning the rules of field hockey, and then going straight to like collegiate is just so different. And I'd say just like it's hard, but like embrace the hard because it goes by so fast. Like I know Maddie and Claudia are graduating this year, and it's like I still feel like they're sophomores and we're freshmen. Like literally just embrace it all. Like prev or pressure is a privilege. That's something that we've talked about a lot in our program. So obviously you set foot on the field for the first time and like the nerves are flowing, but like feel those nerves because it'll go by really fast and just like Claudia said, you meet your best friends and it's just so awesome. Like just it's great. It's great.
Even like during like as like a freshman and like during the recruiting process, I feel like just being like authentically you is very important. Like I feel like a lot of people try to put on like a front or like pretend to be someone like or just try to be put on a front like when they go through the recruiting process and stuff, or like they don't like fully express what they want and need from a program. And like sometimes they don't always get that back, and I feel like that makes it hard when you get there as a freshman and it's not what you thought it was, or it's this doesn't fit who you actually are. Or, like I know when I was going through the recruiting process, like I had another school completely in mind, and I was like, that's where I want to go. That's was my number one choice, and then I came to Shenandoah because my mom forced me to come here to look at it, and it was like, I was like, I love it here. Like I would be like I couldn't imagine going anywhere else. Like they said, I met my friends. I found a community that fit like what I wanted and met my needs. So, like being open and just giving everywhere an opportunity because you never know what they have.
Yeah, they all kind of touched on it, but like the people make the place, and this was honestly not my first choice when I was recruiting. And that, like thinking back on that, it's so wild to me because like I can't imagine my life without like my teammates, my coaches, like all these people kind of help shape you to be who you are going to be. So it's just kind of like, I guess, trust your gut because it knows what it's talking about.
Yeah, everyone can probably attest to the recruiting journey is like really difficult, and like you never know if you're gonna make the right decision. And obviously if you don't, you have options. So I think that's great to, and you're, as you guys touched on, that team culture is also very important to have. So we actually talked last episode about the transition from graduating, no longer playing your sport. So, for those of you graduating, how do you feel about that transition? Have you started it, or are you just like mentally preparing? And how do you think that will translate from not playing your sport anymore?
Honestly, it really sucks because to think like I won't like in spring, especially because like we're a fall season, like spring, like Cam and Caitlin will have like practices and they'll be as a team, and like Maddie and I will be at our apartment together. But it's like knowing that like the people that like we grew with as a team, like they're still playing and like we're done. It's like hard, but it's like I'm so excited to see what they're gonna do as well, and it's like supporting them, continually supporting them always. But it's like now I get to go run for fun and like run. Maddie and I went on a 5 mile run just because we were like we need to do something, and just like trying to be the best.
Yeah, like I said, it is definitely very hard. Like I found out they made a new spring group chat without me, and that's like a dagger to the heart. Like those were my best friends. That's who I spend all my time with. Like, so knowing that they're like that they have another group chat outside of me is just sad. But like I also understand like life's about growing. Change is always hard, but change is always necessary. Like you never know what's on the other side of like the next chapter. So I am super grateful for playing, and like I love the memories. Like I understand it's time to let go, or just to move on. Like I'll go from being a player to now like SUFH number one fan. Like that's what my role is for now. And like coaching's always an option. Like there's ways to stay around the sports. I've like looked into things like that because I can't just completely let it go because it was such a part of my life for so long, and I do love it. Um, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously have the spring for my sport, and I'm already freaking out about it, so I can only imagine how you guys feel. That transition is definitely hard, and I talked to somebody who is in his first year of not being an athlete anymore, and his advice was really great. Just, taking things that, you had learned from college and translating that to your real life, and again, like you said, staying involved through like coaching and stuff like that, because abruptly leaving your sport like that, nothing's going to mentally prepare you for it to just be over all of a sudden. And 4 years flies by so fast, so it really definitely is hard. To kind of wrap this, is there any closing remarks you guys have for anybody that is watching? Any extra advice that you would like to give for people who may be struggling mentally?
There's so many resources You have people to support you no matter what. You have friends, teammates, coaches. It's okay to reach out for help. It does not mean that you are weak. It actually shows that you are very strong because it is hard to ask for help, just like Maddie said. That's probably the hardest thing. Once you ask for help, the hardest thing is over. So just know that you're not alone and you have people to help you.
And if someone is reaching out to you, like, be that person that can listen, because like sometimes that's all they need. They need someone to be able to let them talk and to just kind of like make them feel valid. So just always being that listening ear if you are on the other side of that.
And I was gonna say something kind of in between that, like it's okay to ask for help. Like reaching out is the first step. Like that is. So if you're reaching out, like know that you are strong in that, and if someone's reaching out to you, like be that person for them.
I would also say like just always be like open and willing to talk. Like if someone comes to you, then they see that you're someone that they trust to talk to. So it's like really just give your authentic self, help or like be the best version possible for yourself so that you can support someone else.
Yeah, I love that. That's, very important, have your outlets because there's always somebody that's going to be there for you whether you realize it or not. It's just like opening up, and whether it to be to your teammates or your coaches, you always have someone that's there for you. So with that, that wraps up episode 5. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Stay tuned for the next episode. We'll be interviewing another athlete here at Shenandoah on their take on mental health in sports. With that, I'm Emily Ransom. This is Beyond the Jersey. Thanks for watching.